Today I'm doing what I would call a companion video to the green and gold that I did just a little while ago. The main difference is this one is a Clouser style minnow. Little smaller, but also great for redfish and trout during the winter when you're working up on the skinny flats after it warms up. We're going to start off with a Dairiki 930 number 4 hook, which is very similar to the Mustad 007 hook. Brass eyes, calf tail, and also a lot of peacock curl and gold flashaboo. Anyway, I'm using a Flymaster 6/0. This is a light olive thread, and I've tied from the eye of the hook all the way back to a point where the thread would touch the point of the hook, and then come halfway back. I'm going to put this is a extra small dazzle eye, it's a brass eye. I'm going to wrap a few wraps one direction. I'm going to pull this square, and I'm going to wrap the other direction. A few more wraps the opposite direction. Now, I find that brass eyes tend to, spin on the hook a lot worse than the lead. I'm also using 6/0 thread, which I can't really crank down on. So I'm just going to go ahead and under support the eyes, just kind of wrap it down tightly. Okay, and we're going to come back up to the eye of the hook. Now, this is an olive, or a piece of an olive calf tail. I like this better for the smaller size. I'm going to show you a larger size one as well at the end of the video. But the calf tail, if you can find a calf tail that's got good long hair, that's really the route to go. This is kind of a darker olive color, and I'm going to bring in a fair amount of this calf tail. You can see about how much I've got here. And I'm going to trim that off right down at the skin. Now, one thing about calf tails is it's got a lot of fluff in it, so just grab the tips and kind of stroke it a little bit, remove all the fluff. Now, I want as much length as I can get, so I'm just going to trim this off square, and I'm going to tie it in. Okay, we tie in the front, get that all cinched down, and then I'm going to come behind the eyes, and I kind of pull a little bit this direction when I'm tying behind for all my Clousers, and I'm going to tie back. Make sure it's right on top of the hook. Okay, now, because I hate tying upside down, we're going to turn this. Okay, the next step, I'm going to bring in about 4 strands of gold holographic flashaboo, and I'm going to cut these in half. So we're going to end up with 8. I'm going to fold that across the thread. And I'm going to tie that in right on top of the hook. The last step of this is peacock curl. And I'm going to do a little selfless plug here. I really like the peacock curl that you can buy from anglers, or I'm sorry, from feathercraft. Now we're going to line all that up. The feathercraft stuff is just, it's so much brighter than the crap that you buy from, excuse me, Wapsi. They take a little bit more care when they process it, and it just looks a lot better. I recommend them. I don't know how many strands I've got there, but it's a pretty substantial pile for a hook size this small. We're going to end up with this just a little bit longer than the calf tail. So on this, I'm going to measure it off, trim, and go ahead and tie it in front. Get it all good and cinched down. Another thing that I'm going to do here is a weed guard. I'm not really fond of using weed guards on clousers, but I'm going to go ahead and show how to get it done. This is a 16-pound hard mason. I'm going to cut off 3 inches of it. And by the way, use a pair of shears such as this. Don't use your scissors to cut monofilament. A quick way to screw them up. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. And then I have a pair of smooth jawed, they call them chain nose pliers. The smooth jaw doesn't chew up the monofilament. Now I'm going to go ahead and pinch that right down here at the very bottom of the loop. Give it a good crush. It just puts a little, makes it a little easier to maintain the bend. I'm going to hook that loop on the eye, just behind the eye, and I'm going to kind of come in at a 45-degree angle as I wrap. Put a fair amount of wraps on that. Now I'm going to go behind the monofilament and wrap the other direction. Kind of square it up a little bit. And a few more wraps in front, and then I'm going to whip finish this. Trim off my thread. Still not happy with the way that mono is laying. Kind of tease it a little bit. There. As you can see, we got a nice good V going on there. And I'm going to come in with my pliers and trim it off a little longer than the hook point. The last step, and I always recommend Dave's Flex Mint. Give it a good glue job. And that's done. That's what we call the Tampa Bay Clouser. Now, just so you can see, this is a number 2 hook. It's the same fly. This one is tied with bucktail, and the major difference between these two, other than the fact that this one is calftail and this one is bucktail, is I tied the bottom, the top wing just the same as I did on the other. But when I flip the hook over, I put the flash down, and then I put another half-size bundle of bucktail on top of the flash, and then put on the peacock curl. It just gives it a little bit fuller look, and the main reason that we do this one, this is the wintertime version, this is the summertime version, when you can go with a little bit bigger bait. The eyes are the same. The hook size is a number 2 on this, and a number 4 on the smaller one that I tied there. Anyway, it's a good fly, and like I say, great for redfish and trout. It's the right colors. You could tie this in brown as well, I suppose. I have always preferred the olive with the peacock curl. Anyway, that's all there is to it, a Tampa Bay Clouser. Thanks.